All right. Today is Wednesday. And if it's Wednesday, it's time for Tripping with the Birds. And here we go. Let's trip right now without opening and then coming right back on. Hey, this is unmuted. Hey, this is DJ Straight coming on live with Tripping with the Birds with Vanessa, the host. Vanessa, unmute your microphone. It's Wednesday. This is February the 2nd. When I was writing the date down today, it said 2-2-2-2. I was like, cool, interesting. You're not going to ever get that one again, but it's been a great week. And the people up north got all of that snow, and we got to continue to look out for our neighbors because that was a lot to shovel. And then they have another one, another snow event that is coming up this week. So it's still winter. Everybody be careful out there in the streets driving. You know, look out for yourself. Look out for your neighbors. Make sure we look out and take care of each other. So remember, you can always go on WGMLB and see what we have going on the station and our YouTube channel. And not only that, I'm putting up, hey, let me say this right quick. Our nutritional nugget on Tuesdays, she's giving very, very good information. So you all might want to check her out. She comes on Tuesdays at 7. And with all of our shows, you can go on our YouTube channel and select any of the shows, Tripping with the Birds, 1 hour allowed, open mic, what's your passion? And right now, we're going to come on and bring on Vanessa, Trina, and Rick. Drum roll, please. Bam. You got it.
All right.
Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to another episode of Tripping with the Birds. We have Trina and Rick joining us. DJ Straight there in the background. She'll interject sometimes, I guess, when she has something to say. So last week we spoke about Google Docs, and they were explaining some things to us.
What's going on? What happened?
Oh goodness, I just got tickled.
Oh, okay.
So, this week, I don't know if we're going to talk about Google Docs again, but I know we were going to, DJ Straight mentioned talking about collaboration. And I know with all of your business deals and just your RV and the food truck and the schools and teaching, I know you have had to collaborate with others on different issues and so many different issues. So I'm wondering, I'm sure you have, if not mastered the art of collaboration, you have come close to it. So first of all, I want you to tell us what exactly collaboration is, and then we'll get into some of the things you have learned in communicating with people to come together to make decisions.
Well, for me, collaboration, it's funny because I was collaborating earlier today with a potential client. So one of the things that I really like doing in terms of providing services to other companies and that is helping them start their own online school, because that's a
Oh,
hot thing right now. So
yes.
everybody that has a business is looking to teach, using that tool of teaching as another source of income. And so therefore the convenience before, prior to the pandemic, well, not prior to the pandemic, but as of the pandemic, now it's a lot, it's more acceptable, it's more widely acceptable. But prior to the
Yes.
pandemic, it was rent a hall, do the big recruitment, get people to come into the facility, have to feed them, it's a whole lot of costs involved in
Yes.
that.
Yes.
With the virtual world, you could just turn on your Zoom and tap in and just start talking to people. It's so
Yes.
easy.
It gives
The
everybody a
the
platform.
Right. The
Those
hardest
who
part is
want it.
to be able to have, some valuable content. And that's really basically the only challenge. Well, the other challenge may be for people, and it is a big challenge, that whole online platform. How do I set it up?
Yes.
What platforms should I use? How do I get my content to be as deliverable as it would in person over the internet and just this kind of Zoom thing? So those areas are really important. And what I have found for myself is that a lot of companies are in need of that service. So, for example,
Hmm.
today I was speaking to a young lady who does credit repair, and she does coaching. So after she teaches you how to repair your credit, then she will also teach you how to start your own business so that you can help other people repair their credit. And it's a
Okay.
great platform. They provide you with the software, and there's a monthly fee, but you got to know how to do business. And
Right.
so, just because you're out there delivering your product, most people will concentrate on the delivery of the product, making sure that that product or service is great. But your downfall could be that you don't know how to run a business. And so you
Okay.
could price your product wrong. You could be giving the wrong information, the wrong content to the wrong audience. There's all kinds of things that could go wrong. And with lack of experience, your business could fail as soon as it starts. So
Hmm.
what I enjoy doing is
Okay.
helping you go from level 1 to level 2. And so my example of my client earlier, she's going to, she's got the service down pat, the clients, but she doesn't know how to put together the online school.
Okay.
So
That was
that's
my
a
next question.
collaboration. So I will be teaching
Okay.
her how to set everything up.
Okay.
And um, people will always say to you, and this is a point that I want to really say to anyone listening that's thinking about doing that. Oftentimes, people will say, well, why don't you be my partner? And in their
Hmm.
mind, they think a partnership means, well, you help me set this up, I don't have to pay you, and then whatever money we make, we'll split. It doesn't work like that. Because what
Right.
you could do is at the end of the setup, I never hear from you again.
Hmm.
And now you're set up, you're ready to go.
Right.
And what do I do now? So you got to let people know that a collaboration means that you have to pay for it as well. It's not free.
Well, speaking of that, and I want to get back to what's the first thing you may do if you want to start an online platform. But so many people who want to start a business, whether it's teaching or carpentry, plumbing, just a little side hustle that turns into their main source of income. How do you how do you go about pricing your product, advertising and pricing your product? Even if it's counseling, you know, how do you go about pricing, not
Well,
overpricing or undercharging, but how do you go about setting a fair price?
if it's a service, the most important thing that you could do for yourself is to go online, Google people who provide that service, and see what they charge.
Okay.
I tell my students all the time, as part of my know your value, know your worth, I have them go on to monster.com, LinkedIn, anywhere where they're advertising, indeed.com, where they're advertising for jobs. Look up
Mm-hmm.
that job on 3 platforms and see what the average pay those people are getting for that job. and then you need to be somewhere in the middle of that. Now, the way
Okay.
that you identify where you fall in that spectrum is to identify every one of the skill sets that that job is asking for, and make a checkoff list of every item on that list that you have. It's the same thing with pricing your product. You have to make sure, like, let's say you're selling French fries, the
Okay.
$10 a bag. You got to measure out that bag, pour the French fries into the container that it's going to hold the product when you deliver it to the customer, and then count how many orders you get from that bag. So if you get 10
Okay.
orders and the bag of French fries is $10, that means, well, most people will think, well, that means that it costs me $1 per order. No, that's not true. You got
Right.
to fry it. You got to put seasoning on it. You got to put it in that container you measured. You have to put it in a bag. And then there's your labor for cooking it.
Cost of
So
goods
now your
sold, all of that
value,
goes into it.
all that goes into the price. So now your price may go up to $1.50 per item sold. So you really have to do a lot of background homework before you go out there. Now, that's one of the things that I gave her as homework to do, is to identify, what classes she's going to do, how
Right.
much she's going to charge, how long are the classes, and what days, if it's going to be 2 days a week or 1 day a week, so that you can price it to determine what you should charge. And then you got to remember too, you need the profit in there. So if it costs you $1.50, I mean, most people want 100% profit. So I'm going to sell a French fry, and that's what you get. You're
Right.
probably getting $1.50. And I don't even know. I think now you go out there and you look for order of fries. You're paying $4 now. Where we had the food truck, our fries went for $3, but we gave them a really big container,
Right.
and we had our Mr. T sauce on it, and of course we had a lid. It was all sanitarily done. Most food trucks, they just hand you the food, you walk away. They may give you a utensil. They certainly don't give you bags and all that. Well, now it's mandatory because of COVID.
Right.
We were
Right.
That was our standard way before we even, you know, COVID even hit. So you really gotta, it's a lot that goes into. I have actually a few worksheets that generalized worksheets that help you determine what your price is going to be.
Okay. That makes me think about chicken wings. I was in the store the other day and they have just gone up like four
Crazy.
times what they used to cost. So, because I think, and what the distributors have done is saying, oh, this used to be cheap meat. We would just, sell it just to get rid of, to make turn some kind of a profit. But chicken wings have become so big now. The markup is ridiculous.
They're
And
lying.
so, yes,
My mom was like, "How could you have all these chicken legs on the shelf but no wings? How could there be a
right.
shortage on wings and you got all these chicken legs?"
A package of wings is $20.
Yeah,
I know it used to be 4 or 5 because
right.
it's like, let's get rid of these bones.
Well, they know
But
wings are what people like, so that's a top seller. So
yes,
I had them last week, I think, for the family.
supply and
I paid like
demand,
$18.
Yes.
To
So,
me, it's just food. It's just like pouch price gouging to like the degree that, like, just like you said, you have to do like the common arithmetic, where it's like, where is all this price
Shortage.
going to? You
right,
know what I mean? Because like you
right,
said, chicken wings are just bones.
right.
There's no meat to it. So where's
Yeah,
where's all this profit that like we take it out of the
yeah.
consumer? Where's all this profit going? And like, to answer your question, because like there's the flip side, or like the original question that you asked was, what are the um, challenges for people with these online more classes? You and I
Okay.
both know that like all four of us are savvy. We come into number one, we have technical issues. Number one, a lot of people get like discouraged from that, and then it
Mm,
comes to and then once that happens, they don't stay motivated with it. They just go off to the side, or like call somebody else. Maybe they maybe their son or daughter, or maybe their like their grandson, to like come in and fix the problem. But people just want to sit down and just do one thing. But it's not.
Yes.
It's a combination of a lot of things that you have to have all at one time. Even though we're just talking now, but there's a lot that happens in the background. You got
Yes.
DJ Straight over there. I gotta have my microphone right. There's a lot of things that come into play, and um, and then that happens even before the training starts. So
Yes.
there's a lot of things in there down like that's the back part of it. But the main thing is to stay motivated, and that's where I feel that a lot of people fall short.
Yes.
I did like more this technical for like the Pleasantville Public Schools, and that's what I more or less coming. You have to more or less train and retrain, and a lot of people don't know that. They think they can just learn it the one time and just move on. But this technology piece, we're still at the tip of the iceberg. We haven't went down to see like the lower layers, and a lot of
Right.
people don't want to get involved. And that's just like my opinion on it. But a lot of people say, well, I'm gonna grab you at like a level that I think that you're on. A lot of people are not on that level. Plain and simple. They're
Yes.
just not.
I think people don't realize how much work goes into it before you put your product out there. And then
Mm-hmm.
still once you put your product out there, because what people see is this infomercial on television, this 30-minute infomercial, but how many people are involved in putting that out? How long did these people have to perfect their product to market it? Um, how many people are involved in just getting it out there? It's just, and so people can feel overwhelmed. So when you're counseling someone, um, what do you tell them when they start seeing the bigger picture, and it does get overwhelming. It can be, and so are you motivators in that regard, or can you tell from the beginning, from the onset, if somebody is really serious about this?
Okay, Trina
Or
is. Trina is. She's a good motivator. I myself, I got a different approach. If you're not listening to me like the first time I say something, that's it. You just now missed it. But if I see
okay,
that you are interested, and like that might be like my downfall, but that's just me. I'm just like, listen, did you get it? Did can you walk away with something? But that's not how more of this business is done. And that's me, I guess, looking from like the male aspect.
right.
But like, if you look at me, I might look young, but I'm a little up in age, and I have no time for the nonsense. And
Well,
that's
that's why
just
you
me.
two work great together. That's why you two work great together.
Well, I
I see
think
my logo. I see the logo up there. That's what I want to see. I see the logo up there now. Everybody can see who we are. Did you see the
That's
logo
not the
just not pop up?
logo.
You
Yeah,
like?
that's
Oh yeah, DJ.
experiment.
That's
I
on
don't have
on
you on
Trina's
Google, but if
page.
you send it to me, I'll put it up.
Oh no, I'm not talking about yours. Before we had the StreamYard up there.
Okay, so you all talking about collaboration. So StreamYard was doing some stuff that they didn't collaborate with us on. So they had that banner going across,
yeah, I
and
Uh
saw
huh.
that.
I had to take it off. And that's all the part when you collaborate with somebody, they can't be surprising you because then
That's
they don't
right.
become
You're
a
right.
anymore. They start having their
Absolutely.
own agenda. So I had to
Mhm. Mhm.
click and click and click and figure out what StreamYard was doing. So now it's going back to when you all were talking about, but you all are talking about collaborating in business, but suppose I might need an exercise partner. I want to collaborate with them. I mean, can I trust them enough to say, hey, it's 6 o'clock, let's get up, let's go and do whatever. So in talking with Vanessa was talking about, can you sniff out somebody that has potential as a potential
You don't have to sniff
collaborator?
them out. What you do is how can I say this nicely? Um, I give you assignments. Like when you call me, like today, when I spoke to this young lady about helping her set up her school, I gave her about 7 assignments to do, and I gave her until Monday at 10 a.m. And part of that was to get her team together. I wanted a draft of her catalog, because if you don't know what you want to teach in a school
Right,
now,
right.
why would I spend my valuable time? I'm not going to create
Investing.
that catalog
Even
for
if
you. I'm
you're
not going to
getting
teach you
paid,
the task.
it's a waste of
Exactly.
your time.
Right.
Yes, it
So
is.
you give them
Well, I don't know about
assignments
that now.
to
You
do.
gonna pay me? Okay, go ahead.
No, I said even if you're getting paid and the student
I'll
doesn't
take the money.
prepare, it's wasting your time. Because you can
Right.
move
Well,
on to someone else who's really going to move forward with the
True.
instructions.
And
now,
Okay.
appreciate it.
Okay.
Right.
right now,
Yes.
Okay.
I haven't charged her anything. It was like an initial consultation, and this is how I operate, because then and then I don't even think about you anymore until I hear from you again. So what I do is, and I love doing this, even though many people say I should charge for it, but I love hearing your idea, and my wheels just start spinning, and I'm like, okay, you need to do A, B, C, D, and E, and I will give you A, B, C, D, and E at no charge as your
Hmm.
homework assignment.
Okay.
And I sent her out an email invite, a Gmail invite, and I scheduled her for Monday at 10 a.m. And in the comment section, I said, "Here is your list of things to do," and I listed all five of them. And at the end, I told her what my hourly rate was going to be to help her, because I've already shown you in my
Right.
initial information session with you as to where you could go and what you can do. And if you don't see that vision, and I just met you and I see a vision of what you can do, and I give you that vision, and I give you some tools to start working towards that vision, and then you don't show up on Monday at 10 o'clock at the Zoom, hey, I don't owe you anything because I didn't charge you anything, number one. And number two, I know that you're not a good fit for me to continue to work with.
Yeah, but just like Vanessa said, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time if you don't put all that effort into play. Now my thing is this. I mean, if you and like getting back to your original question, like
Well, let
Vanessa
me
is
let me let me say something to that about the waste of time before you go on. The reason I don't think it's a waste of time and I actually think it's valuable is because I didn't know anything about that credit repair and this new software. I wrote down
true.
the
Okay,
software
we can
platform.
look at it from that aspect.
Right.
So
I
you're
got a
learning
lot
something
of
as well.
knowledge
Okay.
from her about what
Yeah.
she does. So when my next client comes down the pike that may be thinking about credit repair, who's
Mm-hmm.
very serious, now I've got some inside knowledge to that
Yeah.
track that I didn't know before because I talked to her.
So
Okay.
what? So your initial consultation is gratuitous, and so after that, you said
Mm-hmm.
you give a price, and if they want to continue on, then they will start paying for it because you really give them enough initially to get them started and to go for it.
Well, to get them started with the thought process of trying to figure out where they want to go. Like I give them a
Right.
direction.
Right.
So, instead of going down Atlantic Avenue, you better go down Pacific, because Pacific is
Okay.
where all the schools are located.
Right.
Where you were off trying, some people want to Google things and they don't, I mean, all the information is there, but you don't know which one that you just don't know what to do when you get it. So I'm putting you in the right direction. I'm
Point
telling
them
you
in the right
exactly what you
direction.
what you need to do. And I'm also letting you know that I know my stuff. I know what I'm doing. So I've convinced you that I'm the right person for the job. Now you either want to pay me for my knowledge that you just found out I have, and you may have read something about me and then you think, well, this person may be able to help me, but you know exactly what I know and what I can help you with. And to me, that's never in vain, because now I've exposed myself to you as you
Right.
have exposed yourself to me. And that
Right.
information on both parts is valuable to each other. Now, whether
Right.
they act on it, they do. If they don't, like I had another lady I'm
So,
actually going to be on the show with tonight at 7 o'clock, and she wants to do the same thing, but hers is for the trucking industry, and she is a dispatcher. Now I thought that when trucks went out to deliver the product, they just worked for the warehouse. They went and picked the product up and took it where it had to go. There's a whole nother private business. They are
Yep.
dispatchers,
Hmm.
and all they do is track. They keep your truck on the road.
Right.
Okay.
Right. To keep the
Okay.
So let,
time. But there's a thing
let
is too. There's a caveat that's in there. You can convince somebody that you know what you're talking about, but there's a thing called over convincing too, because they might be just coming in there for that one answer, and you done gave them that answer in like your presentation, and they gone. So
That's true.
it's like
I didn't
it's
fell
like
for that,
something
but
like that.
yeah,
Like to me, we all get caught up into that, but it's a good thing. It's 6 of one, half dozen the other, but
hmm
like there you go.
so let me ask this question then. For where we are now, what about people who want to start businesses at home? What? How would you start a collaboration with somebody working from home, just on
that's
any
the
on
same
any
way. I've
project?
Yeah,
developed
it's the same.
developed a remote work program where it's either I'm either helping you with your career or your business. And I use the exact same process for either track, whether I'm trying to help you get a better job or I'm helping you start your business. And I start everything off with the business plan or the career plan. So I've developed a questionnaire. It's actually threefold. It's not only a form filled document, but there's also some resources I give you to help you do the research so that you can fill out that document. And there's a pre-recorded video that I'll send you. This is after you pay me, after you retain me.
Right, right.
um, and I actually get them to put it on paper, DJ Straight, because that's cathartic. When you write something down, it is more likely to become fruition than it is for you just blabbing it to people. Now, blabbing it to people is good too because the more you say it, the more you get better at selling your product or your service. So you do need both. But initially, it has to be written down, and I make them start with that. And then we build. You get your product and your content together first, and then you apply it to in person or virtual.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
So, this makes me think about this infomercial that I used to watch. It was a weight loss thing. And
Hmm.
really, in it, this person gave you everything you needed to do this program just in that 30 minutes. Now, for me, I was very motivated. So I didn't have to buy your program, what you were selling, because you've given me everything. You told me how to calculate everything. You've given me everything that I need to do. Now, I bought the program just because I liked the personality, and then you get motivational things in the program. But as far
You're
as
right.
doing it, that you get enough information to do it. So when you all talk to somebody, if they are if they are very motivated, they can take what you say, and then they may have maybe 2 or 3 counseling sessions or collaborating sessions on a monthly basis, as opposed to you having to be there every week or every day to walk them through it.
Exactly. And that's what when you give a lot of information up, not a lot, but you give some information up front. I mean, no matter whether that person is devious minded or get over minded or whatever they are, when it comes down to the end, at the end of the day, when they get stuck, they're gonna come back to you. They're gonna ask you because they know that you put the seed, you planted that seed,
Right,
and
right,
you know how to grow that seed. And they may take a while because they're fumbling around trying to figure out how to do it, but
right.
eventually they'll come back, and then that's when you charge them.
That's when you sure, because they already know. They already know you have a
Yeah.
price list. I
hmm
was listening to this one lady. I think she sells vitamins and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And we were all talking in a group, and she was talking, and everybody was getting really interested in what she was saying. And this one other lady that was there says, "Oh, I'm going to have to talk to you. I would like to get together and talk with you about this." And the lady says, "Well, that's good. I'm going to have to charge you, though."
hmm
And because that's another session. And the
That's
lady
right.
Consultation.
who wanted to get, yeah, that was another, she wanted to talk with her, that becomes a
Yeah.
consultation. And so the other lady was like, her facial expression was like, "But I thought we were all just friends talking here." But what she didn't realize, this lady
Right.
has a
Did you now?
business. Really what she was doing was baiting people, giving
Right.
them so much to want
I
to
know
talk
exactly
some
what you're
more.
saying. or because a lot of people say, well, oh, okay, I'll talk to you after the show. Now,
Yes.
what they do, they got their laundry list that they want to talk to you after the show
Yes.
to fill in the blanks, and like so they don't need you no more.
Well,
That's
Yes.
what
that's
I'm
why
getting at.
exactly. That's why I give them homework assignments because I'm not going to talk to you after the show. I'm going
Right.
to send you out there to do these homework assignments, and the homework assignments that I assign you to do. Like for example, the girl I talked to today, she had to I gave her a few, and I'm doing this while I'm talking to her. I
Mhm.
researched it a little bit because I know what to look for. When I see links for a particular subject, I know which ones are going to be valuable and which ones are not. So I emailed her a couple links. I told her, you do, and she kind of was sitting back, waiting for me to say, okay, do this, do that. No, you do the
Right.
research. Here's the links. You figure out what it is that, who your competition is, like generic kind of things. DJ Straight,
Yes.
you
Yes.
familiar with that. You
Mm-hmm.
generic things like,
Yes.
A, go find out who your competition is. B, once you find out, see what the pricing that they're charging. C, who's gonna supply you with the product if it's a product oriented type of business. Who are your vendors going to be that you're going to just generalize things. But
Yes.
some
Yes.
people can't connect those dots. And when you
Right.
connect those dots for them, they're not really and I like to talk. So what Rick is referring to is I'll stay on the phone with you an hour and a half and then you never call me back again. And that's frustrating, from the outside looking in. But for me, I feel like I did my due diligence with you and that's going to be a reward for me down the road somewhere somehow. But my son sent me this um
So you
text.
have here's my card. The next time you would like to talk.
Yeah,
Yeah, some people try to get bait. You just have to get some people bait
but
and then
this
let them follow because if they don't follow up, they may not be serious. And then you get like Trina, you want to invest certain things in them. For instance, people may call me about somebody passes. Oh, tell me what to do. A lady called me from another state. What to do? Okay, thanks. I said, okay, I'm gonna give you this one, but at least write a recommendation or something because I said this is a business. Oh, I know it's a business, but can you? It's a business, so you have
It's
to
a
be careful of how
business.
much you actually share with people
Mm-hmm.
because they will
exactly, and I
believe
want to
you.
play this for you real quick. My son sent me this, and he said, "Mom, this is you." Let me see if you.
And number two, I would honestly have to say giving vendors too many chances. Um, so like I talked about this with Wayne, but I'm like, yo, like when you come from a situation in which you feel like people don't look out for you, it triggers a trauma response to then help others the way you wish you were helped, the people who were not deserving, and you can give your way into poverty. So there are
Mm.
So what he's basically saying is, and that described me. I had nobody when I started my business. It was unheard of. The people at the state level didn't even they gave me they took about a year to figure out how they were going to approve me because the only thing on the books was computer operators, and I'm like, no, this is not a computer operator class. This is a PC specialist class. I'm teaching people how to use the PC and software. Computer operator is just, you hit a couple of buttons, the report runs, you pick the paper up, you put it in a bin for whomever that report goes to, and that's it. They don't know what's going on to create that report because the programmers actually were creating those
Mm.
reports that actually went to the computer and printed. And so this guy finally said to me after years, like, look, Trina, we have nothing to go on. We're going to actually use you as the model because we should not be in the business of deterring people. We should be in the business of getting people started. And so that's what they did. But over the years, I never had, I mean, because I was in a new industry that really didn't
Right.
have a lot of mentorship. It didn't have a whole lot of anything. The internet wasn't there to help me. I couldn't Google. I couldn't do YouTube. I couldn't do anything. That was when you
Yeah.
talk to people. You had mentors that
Right.
physically spoke with you. That didn't exist. So I had to, like really, really figure it out my own way. And when I heard that piece, it said that because I didn't have anybody to help me, I'm overzealous in trying to help other people and fill that void because I know how that felt. And I get that, but it still doesn't make me turn it completely off because
Right.
over the years, I have seen what I have done to help people in my conversations grow their business, inspire them to do everything they got to do. And to me, that's a reward that nobody could take from me.
Yes,
So,
but it won't pay the bills.
but yeah, I was
That's
about to
right,
say,
because money's,
but, right.
time is money and money's time.
You still got them taxes. You still
You
got
know what I mean? And
that
they
That's
do.
mortgage.
right. That's
But
right.
like to each his own. Everybody has their own way to like approach it. Now, I guess you're probably looking at me and ain't thinking like mine might be kind of brash or kind of rough, but
No.
I give you some time to see where you're coming from, and I'm like a character. I can see where your character is like going just by like the questions that you're going to ask me. Because
Right.
I had and I had three people lined up to take the food truck course, and they picked my brain so bad that they didn't need me because
Hmm.
that's why I knew, and I learned from that. Like that was like, my aha moment. Like,
Right.
okay, you knew everything you said, and they never came back. And I seen these
Right.
people, like out in the street, and they like kind of like more or less like skirted off because they know what they did.
Right.
What I mean, which was fine. Like that was your knowledge, and like I wish you well with it. But you told me you was coming back for some more. What I mean, which is fine. But like such is life. But you gotta learn by your mistakes, and you can't
Right.
fall into that same pitfall again.
Right.
That's all.
Yep.
Right. Right. So I mean, you want to give them enough. If they're very motivated, they may take that and run with it, but they'll still have to figure some things out on their own. But you
Right.
don't want to just give them the whole course.
Right. What
And
goes into the which goes in like the saying marketing piece, and that's what a lot of businesses, when they first start off, they fail to realize like that marketing piece has to be in place, and that's why that's a huge piece, a huge chunk of the business that needs to be in place as far as the advertisement, the marketing piece, and you can't really do it all, and yet focus on like the business. But and like it costs some money to do it. That's why like you see all those marketers out there, they can like tell you like your brand and to get your colors right and all that, but all that costs money. And a lot of people, more than starting up, don't really have that, have that knowledge or like know that like that's what needs to happen. Because like
Right.
like our logo is maroon, like maroon and white, like, and that's been like more or less 20 years, and that's been those are our colors, those are our branding colors. Just like DJ Straight now, like hers, she has a lot of colors going on, and that's
like
what
the
you need.
rainbow. Yeah.
Yeah, she got a lot of things going on, which is which is good.
Oh,
You know what I mean? And like you gotta have your branding, like your trademark, your logo, all that. So when somebody sees that, or when you see that card, when you give them that card, that's me. You
They
know what
know
I
who
mean?
you are.
That's
Right.
all of me, and nobody can take that away from me.
Right.
But
Right.
like getting back to my original thing, it's all about marketing too. We gotta more or less like detail that also.
Yes. So do you find that it's the people you know, or it's the friend of a friend who wants the discounts or the free service? Because those
it's the
same
people you
people
know,
will
your
go to
family and
Joe
your
up the
close
street
friends.
who they don't know, and they will gladly pay full price.
It's the people that you
It's the
help the
people
most
you
who try to rip
know.
you off. Would you
Hmm.
say DJ Straight?
What you say,
I
DJ
said it's
Straight?
the people you know. It's the people you know, your family and your friends, and those who think that they're your buddies. That's why you should have a contract with most things to keep it business. Separate the two.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because this is why I find, as soon as somebody starts selling Avon or Mary Kay or Tupperware or
Here they
or
come.
they always hit their family and
Mm-hmm.
friends. So they
Mm-hmm.
drop that business, they get another one, they hit those same people.
Mm-hmm.
So my thought is, let family and friends know about it if you want to, but that's not going to be your income base, because you'll milk those people and then they'll run away from you,
That's
Mm-hmm.
true.
because we're
Very
always
true.
going to the same people with every business we start. We're going to the same people, and they don't want to see you coming. So
Yeah.
how do you build, and that comes with the marketing, you build up your base apart from your family and friends.
Well, you do have a great opportunity in today's climate to be able to attract people from all over
We have
the
about two
country.
minutes. I'm sorry.
That's okay. We,
Okay.
you know, to attract people all over the country. For example, I posted a um comment on a Facebook page. It's a small business group that I belong to, and I wanted to, get started back up with my show. So I just posted I was looking for guest to business people to be on the show. I got like 250 hits. I could be
Oh
booked now
wow.
till the end of the year.
Wow.
And they're
That's
from
good.
everywhere. One lady's from
That's good.
Israel. I'm like, are you kidding me? And so I would suggest that instead of
Yeah, but see,
posting
you
your
gave me
product,
something for free.
huh?
What'd you say, DJ Straight?
I said, but you posted, you got a little bit because you did it for free. You said, hey, come on, I'm gonna give you some free exposure for this one time, and that's why you got all those
Oh
hits.
That's how you
yeah.
can draw
If
people
I
in.
posted that as $99 to get on the show, I wouldn't. But see, the value of getting and collecting those contacts and followings from my page are as important as maybe selling them. Saying here's $25, get on the show. So
Yeah,
there's
Right.
value in different, depending on what your objective is where the
yeah.
value is. And I wanted to expand my following and my exposure. But yet, I'm also talking to some very
Yeah.
interesting people with interesting products, and they all want to do business with me.
Okay.
So probably if I have 100 people that say yes, I'm probably going to do business with maybe 5 or 10. That's the
That's good though.
realistic. Yeah, but
That's
that is
very
good. That's
good.
more than what I have.
Yeah.
Yes.
But at the
Yes.
same time, you have to be in a space that is not your family and friends space, like your personal page. I went to a group on Facebook that I didn't know anybody in there, and I looked at them. They had 1.9 million people. So
Okay.
opposed to going, and putting it on your personal Facebook page and
Right.
advertising,
Right.
because
Right.
that's only your family and your friends.
Right.
Yeah, and we all know that that page is somewhat like limited, and it's good that you have those people that are out there looking, and hopefully we can like revisit this and like see how many people like more or less did like to follow up or like to come back. But your original question, like Vanessa, as far as uh, friends and family, everybody wants a hookup. Everybody wants a
Yeah.
hookup, but they don't know like the background again. That background is what's holding up the front ground, and like
Right.
you can't just give everybody a discount.
Right.
Like
Right.
to a certain degree. But if you see somebody there with some real deep like potential, sure you try to cut them some slack now and then. But like a lot of times they don't want to pay for like the face value that you are more or less bringing to them.
Even though you're
And it's
putting the
kind of
same
sad.
amount of work in there, and
Yep.
probably even more so. Well, this has been very informative. We have been tripping with the birds, talking about collaboration and starting up businesses and how to do it and what to do and so forth. This has been very informative. So hopefully our listeners and ourselves can
Mm-hmm.
glean on some of these nuggets and, get moving.
Okay.
Yeah, do our own trips.
That's
This
right.
is the
Yeah.
perfect time to
Sounds
start a
good.
business. This is the
Yes.
grand time to start a business. Not only because of the climate that we have with the pandemic and all of that,
Mhm.
but everything about business is changing. I looked at an excerpt today where, I was on a workshop today that was offered by Flex Jobs, and they basically were saying that 40% pre-pandemic, it was about 5% of people of the population that work from home. Now it's up to 40%.
Yes. And most
Mm-hmm.
of them are loving it. Most of them
And
are loving it.
yes, and they talked about why the workforce has such a shortage on people. And when I say this, you're going to say, wow, that just makes complete sense. What happened was a lot of women had to stay home with the kid because the kid was being homeschooled
Right.
and they couldn't
Daycare and
go
all.
out,
Oh
not
yeah, I
homeschool,
saw
but
that.
virtual school. And what they did was they looked at how much they were really taking home from going to that job opposed to staying home.
And paying
And they
daycare
found
and fixing lunches and all.
all
That's
that.
Travel
right.
time.
So
All that.
you clearing $100 a week. You might as well stay home and start some home-based business, and you can make that $100. And you could
Right.
actually make $200, and then you're making more than you were when you were going out there to the job. And
Right.
that's why remote work
Right.
has exploded, because women are saying, okay, my time can be better spent. I'm here with my kid. Look at all what I was missing being out there in that workforce. My kid was suffering. Now I can do all of that, fix all of that, still have some income by working remotely.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Right.
and that's true. And like
Yeah.
even like the corporate, people looked at that also to see how much money like they were saving, electric, gas, spending time at the water fountain or whatever you say, all that comes into play. And like, yeah, a lot of people saving money to like a certain degree, but I think you have a lot more savings in your pocket now as opposed to
Right.
more to spending it out.
Right.
That's true.
Savings all the way
That's true.
around.
Mhm.
Everybody concerned.
Because you could take a black shirt, man or woman, and put a scarf around it or put a vest on and wear the same thing every day to work. And nobody knows the same thing and be in your pajamas on the bottom. So
Well, there was this commercial that said they wanted, when people went back to the office, they said wear to the office what you were wearing on those Zoom calls. And out of the 8 people, only one lady was totally dressed. Everybody was dressed from the top up. They had on pajamas, shorts,
Right,
flip flops, bedroom
Slippers.
slippers. It was like you only need the top up,
That's
top up.
you know. But this has been wonderful, very, very informative. So, I'm kind of at a loss for words. I learned a lot, and so hopefully other people did too. And I know I appreciate you all sharing, your knowledge.
Yeah, no problem. We're just saying what everybody else wanted to say, but
Yes.
thanks to GJ Straight, we got the format to do it, and we're gonna continue to do it.
And you have lived this. I mean, you're telling us, sharing out of your experiences too, and that's, nothing beats that. So we're going to turn it back over to DJ Straight so she can close us out.
Okay.
And we'll be here next week.
All right.
6 o'clock, Tripping with the Birds.
Thank you. Good night, everybody.
As Matt
Thank
McCartney
you.
says, all right. This has been great. We've had people on from Atlanta, from Maryland, from Portsmouth, Virginia, from Arizona. Because I found and another part of Virginia. So I finally
Okay.
learned how to work with some of this other technology behind the scenes. So that's great. And we'll be back. Like I said, you can always go to YouTube, DJ Straight, and see all of the shows that we have. You can also go on our radio station, WGMLB.com, and hit Listen Live. And Luther Barnes is on There Is Room for Thee right now. That's a beautiful Christmas song, but I play it all year long. But anyway, first, shout out right quick where they can find your 7 o'clock show. You all can tell the people where to go, and we're going to go ahead and end.
Oh, can I say real quick? We had a
Where can we
blast
find you all
on
at 7 o'clock? Your
the
Facebook page?
siblings show.
Oh. Good.
I said, we had a blast. The
Good.
siblings show.
Oh, my siblings and me.
That's it.
Yeah,
That
it
was
was
a
good.
blast.
It was good. It came off
Yeah.
on like a
Yeah.
different format. Everything was there was no ad lib. Everything
Yeah.
was just smooth, and that's what I liked about
Yeah,
it.
I'm going to bring each
And
one
like
of those
if
families
you
back
didn't bring
to
anyone,
your show.
okay,
Yeah.
Hold on a minute. All right. I got to do the next show.
Somebody
I'll talk to
20
you
or
guys
30.
later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
we'll
All right,
talk to you
bye-bye.
soon.
Okay.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Coming out. Okay. Bye-bye.
Over and.
We're going to end this.